And joining me now is the former mayor of New York City, Michael Bloomberg. He's the UN Secretary General's Special Envoy for Climate Action and the co-author of Climate of Hope.
It turns out, actually, that the ethanol is less polluting than the gasoline. But we want to get rid of both of them and go to renewables. You want to go to solar, you want to go to wind, you want to go to hydro, you want to go to nuclear. And as part of the transition, we're going to have gasoline for a good long time, and there's no reason to take the ethanol out. It actually makes the combination better. But it's not where you want to be. And down the road, if we get to the all-renewable thing, we won't have gasoline, we won't have ethanol, but we'll have cleaner air.
Curious where you are on where the energy companies and the role they should play in this, because on one hand, they're going to get hit first with the tax. The fear is always they will pass it on to the consumer. But there's another aspect of this that some are pushing for, which is to sue these energy companies, sort of similar to the tobacco companies. Where are you on that?
Look, and we want to buy oil, and particularly as gasoline, but we use it in other forms. There are big companies in that business. There's no law against what they're doing, and if they stop producing what we need, our cars would stop.
So you don't. So should they be held accountable for some of this pollution?
No.
If they knew in advance it was polluting.
As long as they follow the law. The mistake we're making is we let people frack and burn off and let methane into the air rather than, and Trump's been walking away from all of the things that Obama did a lot and other people did a lot to try to make sure the production of energy is as efficient and as clean as it can be. ExxonMobil, Darren Woods, the guy that runs it, big pro-environmentalist guy, runs a big oil company, understand that. They are out there. They were running full-page ads in the papers to tell Trump, stay in COP21. Right. Would they like to have us go away from gasoline and oil? No, but they are working on the next generation. I took a tour of one of their research labs. They're trying to grow plants that will make...
What do you tell the purists on the left who will say, hey, don't trust them at all?
Well, I don't... Look, nobody has a lock on good ideas, so maybe there are some there. But fundamentally, this is a world where you do things in an evolutionary way rather than a revolutionary way. There's an awful lot of infrastructure and people, and you've got to get back to those coal miners and the guy on television. Yeah. You have to bring people along. You have to explain what you want to do. And so those on the far left or the far right, I'm sure they're well-meaning, but it's not very practical, and most of the things that they propose take away from us discussing things in the middle where we really can make a difference and help people. That's
the whole point why we want to do a whole hour, to actually deal with the nuance. Before I let you go, what's your timeline on deciding whether you run or not? And what would be the factor if you didn't?
Timeline is beginning of the year, end of January, into February maybe. There's no rush to do it. Everybody wants to know what you're going to do, and the bottom line is I'm not sure yet. I care about a bunch of issues. I care for my kids. I care for this country that's been so good to me, and I want to see how I can help the best. Right now, my foundation and my company, I give 100% of the company's profits, or my share of them, to the foundation. We support an awful lot of things that we're doing that let us explain to people how to do things and give them options, not telling them what to do, but I think I can make the world a better place in the private sector. Can I make it a better place in the public sector? Maybe. I loved 12 years in City Hall. I think it's fair to say most people liked what we did in City Hall. Do I think I could be a good president? Yes. I'm not the only one that could be a good president. I disagree with our current president on so many things that I don't even know where to start there.
I assume a lot of this has to be, are you trying to figure out if the Democratic Party is going to accept you?
Well, you would have to, I would certainly run as a Democrat. I'm much closer to their philosophy, although I don't agree with any one party on everything. You would have to run as a Democrat. You would have to get a Democratic nomination. And I think if you go out and you explain to them what you do, keep in mind, I got elected in New York City, an overwhelming Democratic city, an overwhelming minority city. And I got elected 3 times. So I must know something about this.
Michael Bloomberg, it's always a pleasure to talk with you. Thanks for coming on and sharing your views.
Thanks.